Welcome back to Within the Rep. Thank you for joining. Viewer discretion is advised. Today I have on my good friend, Optimal Nathan, Mr.
What's
Nathan
up?
himself. So, my man, what do you do? Who are you? Where are you from?
So I'm in the US and I coach. I'm a coach full time. I deal with professional athletes in shooting sports. I do a lot of cognitive enhancement stuff, but primarily just focus a lot on peptides and biohacking, protocol optimization, and things like that. So a little bit less on the training bodybuilding side and more on the terrain optimization. So I actually work with a lot of people that already have coaches and we're just working together to like solve a particular problem or like get them to point A to point B because they're stuck or like collabing with their own coach and things like that. So yeah.
Amazing. And where did you grow up? You have a little bit of an accent, I might
Yeah.
hear.
Yeah. I grew up in Brazil, actually.
Okay, Brazil.
Yeah.
Whereabouts in Brazil?
Southernmost part of Brazil, like very, very much like the Texas of Brazil, so to speak. Yeah.
Texas or
Yeah, it's the
Brazil?
place where with the most number of guns is the place like super conservative, like it's very much Brazil, Texas, like rodeos and all that shit.
Hmm.
Yeah, we have the largest shooting festival. We have the largest shooting festival and the largest Oktoberfest outside of Germany. Yep. It's a very, very German place. I grew up speaking German. My great grandparents came from Germany, like had German in school. I didn't even have English in school, just German.
Huh. Very
Yep.
interesting. So I need to look in a map then. Is that close to Argentina then?
Yeah, like 15, 20 hours drive. Brazil is huge. So that's
Hmm.
considered kind of close.
Okay, so the country that borders it is Uruguay on the southern side.
Yeah, Uruguay, Paraguay, and Argentina. They all meet at the same spot there in the border with Brazil.
Okay. So is there a lot of Eastern Europeans then
You get a
southern
lot of,
Brazil?
yeah, you get a lot of people from Argentina to go into Brazil during the winter because for them, the beach is actually like comfortable. It's not cold. So since Argentina, it's so fucking cold. When they go to Brazil in the winter, the water feels warm. So it's just Argentinian people at the beach in the winter in Brazil. It's kind of crazy. You just hear Spanish all the time.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. So that's kind of similar to I think Matthias. The Matthias, you know Matthias?
Hmm.
Yeah, I had him on one of my first couple episodes. I believe he grew up in or he was born in Argentina.
Yeah, I've been there once. It's a nice place. I went to Buenos Aires. It's very nice. It looks very European, Buenos Aires. And the part where I live in Brazil, it just looks like Germany. Like the architecture and everything. Like if I show you pictures, you're gonna think it's Europe. It just doesn't look like Brazil, like what people have in mind, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. Yeah, the bodybuilding scene in Brazil is
Wild.
crazy.
Yeah. It's special. We can talk about that. It's a very different world than in the US. Yeah.
Yeah, give me some insight. Tell me some stories.
So like let's talk like for instance like how we deal with enhancement of female athletes in Brazil, right? So in the United States, you're going to be prioritizing low androgen compounds like Anavar. You might leverage something like Primo, some growth hormone, try to use peptides to stay away from androgens as much as possible. Even like playing with like Osterine and things like that, like to try to stay away from it. Brazil will be like Winstrol, like just straight out fucking 25 milligrams of Winstrol to your first cycle as a female. And it's very easily recognizable in the beach setting, if you know what I'm saying. You can sort of tell that someone has been enhanced, but the doses that people use in Brazil are just very fucking wild. Like it's insane. And since the compounds are also in general like I would say it's not super easy to come by very high quality stuff. You're also injecting a bunch of things with like a lot of solvents. So like your health actually takes a bigger hit. Like, like I can see inflammation markers just on TRT and here I can tolerate a gram without any issues whatsoever on my blood work. So peptides are also very hard to come by. So people are not leveraging that as much. It's also new information. Like there's not a lot of stuff out there yet. And in terms of like coaching philosophy, it's very much like they train hard as shit. I don't know if you've seen the videos of like the female athletes training, but they will go. Brazilians really believe in training exceedingly beyond failure, like way, way, way beyond failure. Like still doing drop sets with widowmakers, with supersets and cluster sets, all in the same fucking thing. Like I don't know how people don't get rhabdo just like all the time. You're gonna see people leveraging things like ephedrine a whole lot pre-workout, taking a bunch of like horse compounds a lot. There's one that's like a vitamin complex that people take before workouts that if you take a high dose, you're actually going to have a heart attack. And I had a friend who died of that, but like people still use it. It's, you know, a decent amount of like COs as well, like spot enhancement. I don't see like growth hormone being leveraged as much there either. It's just not something people are using as much. But when they do, it's pharma grade because it's cheap and everything is it's easy to find on a pharmacy. That's a huge advantage. Like I made a reel one time just showing people like everything that I got. Everything that requires a prescription in the US pretty much doesn't in Brazil. And the only things that we require a prescription for are things that are like could possibly kill you, like like opioids and, something like Vyvanse is going to require a prescription, like Tramadol, which I love. It's going to require a prescription, like ezetimibe, metformin. Metformin is actually subsidized by the government. I bought like 60 days worth of metformin for less than $1. Insulin is also easier to come by, like no restrictions on it. It's, yeah, which could kill you, but outside of bodybuilders, people were not scared of insulin. Like every idiot that has diabetes takes insulin without worrying about it. I find that bodybuilders are the only ones that really, really are scared of it. But yeah, that's like a general 50,000-foot view of it.
They give metformin and it's subsidized. Is it because just like I'm not sure, I don't know much about Brazil, but Mexico is a lot like a lot of people drink, like a lot of Coca-Cola and stuff like that, a lot of high sugar drinks, right? So a lot of people have diabetes. Is it the same in Brazil?
So if you compare the rates of heart disease, diabetes, cardiac arrest, like all the stuff in the Brazil and the US is very comparable. And one thing that people say, like I actually heard on a call this week when someone was talking about like eating liver and things like that. And they're like, yeah, but they're not putting so much shit in Brazil. Actually, Brazil allows for more pesticides and dyes than the US does. And so does Europe, as a matter of fact, like compared to what like the US is actually doing. But the nomenclature is actually different. So it's confusing when you don't have like a one-to-one transference to like be able to like tell so easily. But and then there's also a difference in reporting. Like in the US, if you die of cardiac arrest, it's going to be reported as a cardiac arrest. In Brazil, it could actually be reported as just organ failure, or it could be reported just as like natural causes. So we don't have like as much data to be able to tell, but the Brazilian diet is very much like the American diet. Like Brazilians love to talk about how shitty the US food is. Motherfucker, Brazilians eat cake every afternoon. Like they eat bread and like toast and jelly every fucking morning. But during lunchtime, we're not having tacos. We are having rice, beans, steak. So there's like some balance there, but no one gives a shit about grass-fed, organic, GMO, microplastics. Brazilians don't have the economic power in general to be able to afford worrying about these things. It's a luxury, you know? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Yeah. I have a good friend from Brazil. Actually, I have an ebook out there. Funny enough, a few ebooks in Brazil.
Yeah.
I collab with my friend down there, but I know a few things. So you talk about the more extreme side of it. I know there is a very good health aspect side of it too in
Yes.
bodybuilding in
Yes.
Brazil, right?
Yeah.
Like I've seen, obviously I don't speak Portuguese, so it's a little tough for me to see some of the Instagram videos, but I do follow a lot of the guys and even some of the doctors, they're doing like podcast style reels in their office, breaking down blood work, even showing, like as you mentioned, SEOs being removed
Uh-huh.
and actually showing the glands on the table, talking about them, look very professional. But it's nice to see that there is that medical application on the bodybuilding side of things, because here in Canada, it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, if you well, for one, the only way you can get blood work in Canada is you have to go to your doctor. There
Gross.
is no private blood work really. And if you mention, bodybuilding and anabolics, they're not going to help you with anything.
That used to be Brazil about 20 years ago. That changed. Like Brazil really, really invested a lot into the health aspect of it inside of bodybuilding because people were dying so much. Like I have lost countless people in their piece of heart attacks and things like that. So there was like a really big push to actually change how we do things over there. And like some of the heart screens, like I went to Brazil last year and I got organ screening for every organ pretty much. I did full body MRI, contrast, like fMRIs. I did strain tests in my heart, VO2 max, cardiac output, liver, fucking like I did every scan possible. I just the only thing I didn't scan was my brain. And like almost every doctor that I talked to, when they were like talking about like, oh, so how are you like this big and stuff like that, I was like, you talk about bodybuilding, they're like, oh, there's this doctor, you need to like connect with him. He like tests bodybuilders and like helps them out and like shows them how to avoid these issues. So like some of the cardiac problems that we face in the US and in Europe that we are going to be able to detect, let's say after 3 years of abuse, we can actually detect within a few months in Brazil. So like we were able to see some strain in my heart after just a year or so of PED use that was completely absent from the other tests that I would have been able to get in the US. I also got them for free, which is pretty cool. But, it's like that medical side is the support is good. I mean, you can just walk into the pharmacy and get your medications. You can just walk into the blood work place and just ask for blood work and just fucking do it on the spot. You just look at a chart, pick whatever you want, do it. Genetic testing as well for a lot of things. Like I did like ApoE sequencing and things like that. Like all fucking just walked into an office and paid for it and did it.
Hmm. How
Yeah.
much does that cost about American for like a full body analysis?
So like a full body MRI, I think was something like $300.
US.
Yeah, and then like the max output with I have a chart about all of this, but I think like all of the scans, the blood work and everything came under like 4 grand,
Hmm.
which are like here you're gonna pay for an MRI, you're gonna pay like 12, 1500. I did that for my shoulders, I did it for my clavicles, I did it for my elbows, I did a lot of like contrast stuff to be able to see the what my nerves and tendons, connective tissue. So we were able to see like there's a lot of micro tears already happening. Like there's like certain parts that are not attached anymore in my shoulder. I dislocated my clavicle when I was a child, so, like, that is still is dislocated and they never adjusted it. So my shoulder is severely fucked, which is just makes my whole training into a completely different thing, not to go off a different tangent here, but it's just, being able to, like, take a look at, like, everything under the hood and really know, like, I changed my training philosophy based on those things, and I also changed my approach to my protocol design in supplementation-wise, like health mitigation, based on the testing that I did there. My blood work after a little bit over half a year enhanced at a pretty decent dose, including orals for over half a year. Perfect. My training, like I not only don't have any pain, I didn't get injured half a year pushing. So like getting that information and then being able to actually build a plan off of the health data that you're getting from is extremely fucking valuable instead of just getting it to see that you're not dying and then just continue doing the same shit. It's about like optimization.
Yeah, I mean, it's something I've always been jealous of, even in the UK. Like, I was talking with a guy today, and even in the UK, they've had blood work like available privately for over a decade. Here, it's still something that's difficult to get alone, just a basic blood work panel, which is absolutely wild.
It's
Um,
outrageous.
in the UK, they have like actual bodybuilding focused, like facilitated blood work facilities and draw facilities and things like that, right? So it's a
Yeah, it's
great benefit to have. I mean, it's almost I don't understand why they're in Canada. You can go to the doctor and get, your opioid prescription, no problem. Like, it seems like they give that out like crazy. You can go down to Hastings and here in Vancouver, and they hand out free needles to, all the people to use, like it's
yeah, it's
absolutely
kind it's
wild.
kinda like until a few years ago, you could you had all of the public supports to do gender reassignment, but to do gender confirming, like you just couldn't do it, right? So you can be a woman transitioning to a man, you can take testosterone, but if you're a guy who wants to be more masculine, you can't. Now that
Right.
changed, but that used to be the case, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can go to the doctor if you're an alcoholic. If you use narcotics, you'll get assistance, you'll
Yeah.
get help. But if you use, any personal enhancements that you're trying to actually optimize your life,
Yeah.
no
That's
help
so
here.
bad. It just creates more problems, right? You don't you keep people from being able to know what the fuck is going on with their health. That's not gonna deter people. Like we want to be as massive as fucking possible. We, to a certain extent, every single one of us doesn't give a shit about our health. Like, right? Like there's always a little bit that we're like, I know that I'm sacrificing something, at least telomere length. Let's just say maybe my blood work is fine, my organ scans are fine. Like telomere lengthening is something that we can actually measure, and you can see a reduce in PED users. So like, you think just keeping information from me is gonna stop me? No, it's just gonna fucking keep me from living as long as possible and, being as healthy as I can to be a healthy contributor of fucking society.
Yeah, I mean, so I'll be 34 years old in May here. And I think my outlook on, bodybuilding slowly changes as I progress and like what I'm willing to give. Obviously, there's probably irreversible damage from, the years of bodybuilding
Huge.
previously.
Yeah.
And that's just an inevitable fact of it. But I think especially, it's a major disservice to younger athletes because
Yeah.
they're not going to have that greater outlook on life, and they are so fixated on a goal, that they don't really focus on their health. And I mean, it's often that you see people come in and they have no oversight on what they're doing ridiculous cycles, young ages, don't even have baseline blood work to look at, no supplementation, the list goes on,
Yeah.
right? But I mean, when I'm 34 years old, I can afford my supplements. I can afford to, I mean, it is a right to know, like you said, and I can go to the doctor and be like, if you're not going to give me my blood work, well, unfortunately, I want to see it, so I'll pay for it. So just write down, you're giving me blood work and self-pay beside everything, because you can do that here in Canada. I don't think a lot of
Nice.
people know that, but
That's a
you
good
know what I
hack.
mean? It's a
Yeah.
little ridiculous, right? Like we should be giving like the younger generation the opportunity to have some foresight on their health into the future, mitigate any damage instead of being reactive, when they're having heart attacks at 30 years old, 35 years old, right?
Dude, and I find it so like that's one thing that's not very leveraged in Brazil because like you alluded to, you have to be able to afford your health supplements. There are certain times that based on my blood work, I am getting close to a grand on like health supplementation as a whole, right? Like let's say you're running plasmalogens, let's say you're running, like ubiquinol, you're taking glutathione, you're, doing some NAD infusions, like these are all things that have a measurable effect on our health. Like that actually requires a lot of funding. And not to say that people still choose to do it without taking care of all these things, but man, you know this, right? Like we can keep you so fucking healthy while doing an obscene amount of drugs, like even recreational drugs. Like I have protocols for that as well because I have clients that just fucking love to party as well. And what am I going to do? No, I'm not going to help you. I'm not going to offer guidance because I don't condone drug use. Like how could I fucking say that? So like it's just knowing how healthy you're able to keep someone just makes me pissed off that we are keeping health information from people, gatekeeping their stuff, because if they could see in their blood work or just like, man, like I can actually change all of my inflammation markers. Like I can actually fix my thyroid without needing thyroid medication, or like, like I can prevent some of these insulin resistance, which, it's going to end up causing inflammation, which is the underlying, thing in every single fucking disease that exists. Right. So, it just creates this cycle of not being able to access the information, so therefore you act out of ignorance, and then you just continue fucking doing what you're doing because you're not dead yet, and you just don't know what's happening, and then eventually your car breaks down, and but the car breaking down in the case would be the engine failing, and sometimes you're people find out like, "Oh my god, I have liver failure. I didn't know." Like, "I fucking my kidneys are fried. I need a transplant." I'm like, "How the fuck do you get to that point?" If you have the access to the information, then at least it's your responsibility and you can blame yourself and do something about that. But if it's the fault of the government, if it's fault of legislators and things like that, it's just why? I bet
Yeah.
that whatever drug they want to prescribe, they fucking get it.
And this actually literally just crossed my mind this thought. I remember Jordan Peters saying this a long time ago. Do you know Jordan Peters?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm sure most listening do, but he mentioned, I don't think it's fair that the NSH, NHS, National Health Service, I believe in the UK, should have to like bear the responsibility of keeping me healthy because
Of
essentially
course.
this is what I want to do, but I'm willing to pay for that.
Yeah,
But the thing here in Canada, like we don't even have that option, you know?
yeah,
Like we don't have mail order blood, like we don't have Merrick Health. You know what Merrick Health is?
yeah. No,
But
I
it's
do.
just a
I work with
so
yeah,
you know what I mean, right? Like we don't even have those options available. We're so restricted. And it literally is a battle. I'll have clients, I'll have to give them literal scripts. Like this is how you're gonna ask the doctor for this to get a
yeah.
full thyroid panel,
We've
right?
had
Because
to do.
the only thing
Yeah.
they'll give is TSH. You know that.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god, don't get me started on that. The how incomplete doctors' panels are. I am yet to see a person who tells me that their doctor ordered a panel and I have all of the information to be able to say fucking anything meaningful. Like, I might be able to see that you have an iron issue. I don't know if it's storage, if it's a transport issue. I don't know if it's reutilization. Like, I might know that, your maybe like your fucking PSA, but like I'm not gonna know your testosterone, definitely no clue of your estradiol, like no estrone, like
Have you ever heard of Function Health?
function health,
Yeah.
like as a company.
Yeah, it's a company in the States. I just had a client have blood work from there, but they do over like 200 lab tests.
Yeah, I work with Anabolic Insights. They not only do like all of the panels that every other company does, but they also upload like your own blood work into there with functional ranges and allows you to have a visual of all of your health metrics over time. Like, literally, you
Okay.
order in, like, 5 minutes, it's in your inbox. Next morning, you just go ahead and do it. 2 weeks, it's in your inbox and, like, with all the graphics. It's really fucking cool. And it's a
Hmm.
single guy who came up with it himself too. It's fucking awesome.
Well, interesting. Yeah, I'm not affiliated with that company, by the way. But I
Yeah,
do actually, pretty cool, a little bit of news. I do have blood work available now for clients in the UK, which is cool. I just set that up. That's a nice little service to add on to things.
that's
Excuse
awesome.
me. And you should have heard earlier, I was just about to get on a call with somebody, and
And the
my
nicotine
cat
throat hit.
no, my cat, dude.
Oh,
I hear like somebody like gagging out in the kitchen. So I'm like, oh my gosh, one of them's throwing up. So I just wanted to go potentially clean up the mess. And my little one, the white one, he's like throwing up a piece of chicken, a full piece of chicken. He must have tried to be swallowing it and he gagging on it, right? Cooked chicken and onto my shoe. He stole because I prepared my meal. He stole the chicken and rice out of my meal. Stole a full piece of chicken out of the meal and he's trying to eat it. This guy's savage. I dropped a piece of beef on the floor one day, like a good chunk of beef, and I looked down and he ate the whole thing. Like he's like a dog. He even plays fetch. I'll like throw his ball and he'll run.
what?
He's obsessed, man. He won't cuddle. He
Yeah.
doesn't do, but all he wants to do is play fetch. He's like a year and a half now, and
Dude, that's so
he's a
funny.
weirdo. He's a weirdo.
That's funny. Yeah, we have a dog
Whatever.
that has some cat, like, pattern like, behaviors because she had the cat since early on. So she likes to climb on top of things and stay like on top of the edge of the couch and things like that instead of just laying on it like a normal dog.
Yeah, totally. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, but on the mention of the actually going back to what we were talking about, yeah, I had a client with who is literally on Synthroid and, diagnosed with hashies and whatnot. And they run his panel and all they give him is TSH. What are you guys doing?
Dude, I'm serious. Like the Hashimoto's and Graves is the one that pisses me off the most because I'm like, you're letting these people have irreversible fucking damage over something that for the majority of people is not only able to be caught early, it's fucking fixable. You know, you don't have to live with it, but we just act like there's no solution to it. Like, it's
Mhm.
insane. When I tell people that you don't learn endocrinology when you go to medical school, they don't believe me. And I'm like, look at the fucking syllabus. Just email the university, ask for the syllabus and read it. Like, you're going to see what they're looking at. And we're talking in two separate universes here. Like when we're talking about what's happening with PCOS, with BMMD, with, endometriosis, like we're not talking about fixing this actual problem. We're talking about doing something that has been measurable that we can absolutely confirm to a panel of other academics. And if that's the case and it convinces enough people with the trials and the funding, then that's what we do. That becomes the SOP, the standards of procedures. But it doesn't mean that we found the actual cause of it and we're able to actually handle it, you know?
Yeah, and I just want to say this, but if you have Hashimoto's, what's your first? Actually, I want to get your take on it. What's your first line of action if you get a client in that has hashies? What's your first protocol? Even if you can't get the blood work aligned and whatnot, what is your starting base point in the
So
body?
I will get blood work. I'll get TSH, I'll get free T4, I'll get free T3, I'll get T3 reuptake, and I will get reverse T3 and then TPO and TG antibodies because I want to see if there are actually antibodies there. It varies like case to case what we're gonna do, like on the severity, how long they've had it for. But like I like to use bioregulators in protocols with people so, for instance, stomach cord, which supports, the stomach lining, the gut lining, but also, your gut is where about 80% alongside your liver, your T4 is converted to T3. So you're actually supporting that system directly at like an epigenetic level. I like to leverage thyrogen. That's the number one peptide, bioregulator peptide used in Russian medicine. It acts at a cellular level actually to regenerate tissue. I like to leverage things like TB500 because it has stem cell like mechanisms and it's able to reverse some of the actual fibrosis that you have not only in the thyroid, but also like if you have a client with like lung issue or fibrosis or something like that. GHK copper and TB500 are like fucking amazing for this. So I'll be leveraging some of those things as well, and then supporting things through dietary change. Like I'm not gonna add you selenium onto your supplement package because you can just eat 2 Brazil nuts a day. Like fuck, that's 200 micrograms of selenium right there. I want to support some serotonin and dopamine balance. So like I'll have you eating a couple of kiwis before going to bed. I'm gonna have you probably just like we're slowly titrate the medication down as like body temperatures are like giving us the hint of like how fast and how slow we can go with regards to the medication and stuff, and then slowly support with supplementation as well. Myoinositol being one that I really, really like for Hashimoto's. It's really, really solid. But I would say that a lot of the protocols that are missing things like stomach cord, things like cortexin is another one that's fucking awesome because it actually supports your hormone production at the hypothalamic level, right? And your hypothalamus is what's going to signal TRH, which is going to signal the pituitary to release TSH, which then it's going to allow us to actually have T4 converted into T3, and the globulins are going to transport that into the bloodstream. And just like having to support every single step of the process is like you just reverse engineer that and apply the bioregulators as sort of like guide rails for the whole process.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, well, that's pretty intense for.
That's a 50,000-foot overview.
Yeah, that's a very high level approach. So, starting point essentially gut health, facilitating.
all three at the same time. So I'll do the brain, I'll get the liver, and I'll get the gut all at the same time because they're
Mhm.
not going to act like wait one for the other or something like that. We have to support all three at the same time, and then
For
support
sure.
thyroid.
We should be supporting for sure, but the real major cleanup of the inflammation of a lot of what's going on was a lot of facilitating the autoimmune response in the thyroid is going to start in the gut,
Yeah,
from
yeah, yeah,
leaky gut, right? So a
yeah.
lot of things that your protocol calls for is going to help with intestinal gut health,
Yes.
a lot of the dysbiosis,
Huh.
even potentially having to break down some of the biofilms in there, doing a
Yep.
cleanup phase like with those sort of things, this is really
Mhm.
going to help tighten that gut barrier, leaky gut, right? So things getting into the bloodstream, and that's going to cause a inflammation response,
Mhm.
right? And the inflammation response is going to cause the body to have an autoimmune response as well,
Yep.
potentially attacking the thyroid. And this is what's happening in Hashimoto's cases.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. Exactly. So like that's like all addressed that just like simultaneously. So we're like I added the whole shebang like from the beginning. The only thing that I do leverage a lot is sequencing because I truly believe in it in like doing like priming a mechanism, then taking it full advantage of it, and then restoring the mechanism to be able to operate without needing these other compounds and things like peptides and stuff. So
Mhm.
well,
So you're thinking the gut, so we got gut phase, kinda super high level, and then a little bit of base level breakdown, and then the thyroid support, you're using healthy whole foods, you're not using really supplementation per se, like you said, Brazil nuts, kiwis,
yeah,
things along those lines, and that's
iodized
gonna
salt, iodized
stimulate.
sea salt.
Okay, and that's gonna stimulate healthy thyroid.
Yeah, that's like like for instance, iodine deficiency. This is not the case in the U.S. if you look at the statistics, but in the whole world, iodine deficiency is the primary cause of like hypothyroidism, right? So we can just support that by just having salt that has iodine. So that's one less supplement that you need to take as well. But I'm gonna be leveraging supplements a lot for the inflammation, and because every disease goes back to a cellular level, like of miscommunication in between, you know, uh, factories and stations in your body, so to speak. I'm gonna be supporting that as a cellular level. So we're gonna be supporting your NAD plus production, your CoQ10 storages as well, that's gonna be done simultaneously. So I'm gonna have something like ubiquinol. I'm not a huge fan of CoQ10, but I'll have ubiquinol in there. If we can't really have glutathione, we'll have at least NAC, but we'll always take it with glycine, just to enhance the absorption of it. Yeah, that's the starting point of like the thyroid. But like I'm operating under the assumption that you're not eating like a fucking asshole, like with seed oils and a bunch of like inflammatory foods. Because then if you're like throwing a bunch of anti-inflammatories, but you're just filling up your diet with omega 6s and just, you have low omega 3s and stuff is just not a good ratio for your body to be able to heal.
For sure. Okay. Sounds, I just wanted to kind of break that down a little bit more phased out. So not so fast, just so people can have an understanding of what's going on there. Right.
Yeah.
So, and then if you want to give a little bit more of a breakdown of the brain support side of things.
Yeah, yeah. So like the thyroid production actually starts in the brain, right? So the hypothalamus is going to like sense that there's low levels of circulating T3 in the body. When it does that, it releases the thyroid releasing gonadotropin. And that hormone is then what's going to communicate to the pituitary that we are actually having like to like add more production of T, and then your liver, your gut, and then some other tissues as well, but about 80% is in the liver and the gut, is going to convert that TSH into, it's going to have the T4 converted into T3, and then we're going to have the globulins like transporting that into the whole bloodstream to have it circulating at all times. So to be able to support that, you need to support neurotransmission. You need to support, the connection between your neurons. You need to make sure that your pathways are all there, that the structure itself is there, right? So like you can actually capture a few of these synapses mistakes that are happening when you're talking to people about like how they form a memory. So that's like one thing that I'll go over. It's like when you what I just said, can you just repeat it back to me? Like I'll just pick something like that, or like I'll show you an image and just be like, did you notice this? Like, I want to know how fast your brain can react and things like that. And then I'm going to be supporting those things with supplements and peptides to make sure that communication in your brain is as smooth as it can possibly be so that any hormone signaling that exists in the brain is in an environment that is optimized. So it's literally optimizing the terrain so that it can actually operate. It's kind of like putting some new oil, clearing the rust off of your engine just to make sure that it's actually properly running.
Okay. Okay. And you said you work with, that's interesting. Just crossed my mind. You said you work with a lot of competitive shooters.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's probably very good to have that cognitive
Yeah.
enhancement,
Yeah.
right?
There's no one in there's no one that's doing what I'm doing with competitive shooters. It's fucking ridiculous. Like once you're able to see things in slow motion when you're shooting, you're gonna be like shitting your pants. You're gonna be like, what the fuck is this? Like, because I've leveraged that with car racers before. Just like a few peptides and depending on what you use, they have a very different effect. But like, fuck, I have nicotine, I have fucking Nupept, I have nephiracetam, I have paraxanthine, caffeine, methylene blue just on my desk, not even counting my fridge. Like, I am all about cognitive enhancement. I fucking love that shit. And I think every single compound has their own like specifics that they act and like certain people respond very well to certain combinations. Certain people don't get anything out of something. And that's literally just data telling you like, hey, this person doesn't need support with this system. We actually need to support this other system. So that's why you see a lot of disparity in cognitive enhancement stacks where people are saying like, oh, that didn't do shit for me. It's like, well, you
Hmm.
probably had an issue elsewhere, right? So like you see people saying like this 31 didn't do anything for me, but Mot C did. I'm like, yeah, the issue wasn't in the electron transport chain. It was elsewhere. It was in the actual like signaling that was sent. That's why Mot C worked. If it was the opposite, it wouldn't. That's why, if it was the opposite, you probably feel better also on methylene blue significantly. Some other people
Hmm.
don't get as much of an effect.
Yeah, but Matsi, what's your dosing parameters per se?
It depends on what I'm doing. So, like, if it's like a longevity stack and I'm going to use it for a long period of time, I'm going to use low doses. But if I'm going to use for a short period of time, like during, like, I'm going to run a mitochondrial enhancement phase now. And I think if I remember off the top of my head, we're going to be doing 15 milligrams twice a week. So like that's a pretty high fucking dose, but like I'm priming the system with SS31 before that. And also going through a phase of like intentional autophagy to actually make sure of getting rid of like cellular senescence and everything like that. And support like healthy recycling of the mitochondria.
Do you ever use PQQ in replacement for SS?
Yeah, I actually run it year round. And then when I run the mitochondrial like enhancement stack, I don't run all of them at the same time, but I'll run like PQQ first, and then I'll run ubiquinol after that. And that would be like my substitution. But I'm running right now. Like if I'm on cycle and I know that I'm abusing the system a lot, I'm taking 40 milligrams of PQQ a day and 400 milligrams of ubiquinol a day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, SS31 and PQQ, they act similar pathways, essentially mitochondrial efficiency.
Hmm.
Really simply, it's energy production, right? So overall, you're going to feel, if things are lining up correctly, overall, you should feel a lot better energy wise. I mean, when I stacked SS31 and MOTSI together, it was one of the best performance training bouts I had, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I do MOTS high too. I do 10 a week split. Some people do really low doses, like 1 milligram per se. I don't really believe in that. I think it should be dosed much higher. Um, you can
I
get
do
away
like
with,
5 milligrams is kind of like a minimum for me a couple of times a week.
yeah, I do 5 twice a week myself.
Yeah, but like it's on dosing, like I don't know if you looked into the research of Elamipretide, but like it has been very, very well studied. Like we have one of the longest studies. Like it's SS31 has literally been on a trial for 147 weeks straight, and the previous one was like 97 weeks or something. But at the dose of 40 fucking milligrams a day, no one can afford that shit. And
Exactly.
here's the interesting thing. When you look at the mice studies, because we can actually measure mitochondrial efficiency, this is not like some woo-woo shit that we just come up with as like an umbrella term for like energy production. No, like we can actually see where the issues are coming from. The mice that did not have an issue in the electron transport chain got absolutely no improvement in their markers from SS. So that's why certain people don't get like anything out of it, but they will out of MOTS-c because, well, your system is already freaking ready for it, right? Like
Hmm.
it's literally primed for that. So it's the research on the Peptide is very interesting. It's the only medication used for box syndrome. Like there's nothing else for that, you know?
I have so many things I want to break up here, but quick question. Should people use peptides if they're not tracking biofeedbacks, they're not tracking blood work, they're not tracking things like this?
No, no, don't inject or consume a bunch of random shit that you can't even pronounce. As a matter of fact, I say that if you cannot explain exactly which part of the mitochondria you're trying to tackle, you don't have any business fucking doing it. You don't know. You're just mitochondrial enhancement is such a broad term. That's like saying I believe in God. Yeah, which one, bro? Like this is not like a simple sentence, you know. So I really don't think so. And I think that, a lot of the people they think that because they get blood work, then they can also just continue taking peptides forever. I truly don't believe in that. It's just we don't just because we don't have the data on, what happens to your body if you just keep, like fucking pumping new like blood vessels into your body by taking BPC 157 nonstop. Like how good is that actually, right? Like, is this good? Like, are we like years forever? Like, because we don't do that with steroids. We take weeks off. Why, like, are we just going to assume that something like with less, stuff, you can just kind of do willy nilly? I truly don't believe so. I think you really need to have a philosophy of peptide use, and you should have a very clearly laid out method and a reason for every single compound. And if you don't know how to explain that, not in 5-year-old terms, I'm talking like grown up adults that actually understand this shit, like not the whole fucking, just break it down 4th grade level. I mean, like an actual understanding of it. I don't think you have any business like actually using this stuff. I think you need help like that, because that's what I would do whenever I don't understand what the fuck I'm talking about. I don't try to fix my own car, bro. I have no business fixing cars. If my wife sees me near my car with a wrench, she should fucking knock me in the back of the head and be like, "You're about to break our car that's been working very well," because I don't know what I'm doing,
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I asked that because I've literally had hundreds of people message me over the past couple of days about these specific subjects, mainly GLPs, but
I talked to someone today, bro, that literally said like they said they called like this person and was the guy's aunt, and she was like, "Hey, so I bought this like Retta off the internet and I was going to inject, but I think I don't know how much water I added, so I don't know what I should do next." And I'm like, "Bitch, you have no business using this." What 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 do you mean you bought this thing and you have no idea how much water you added in? That's the reconstitution is like the most basic part of this thing. That's the least complicated part of this all, and you managed to fuck it up? Like, come on.
yeah, exactly. I mean, that's just the case. Like I said, I've had hundreds of conversations over the past few days about this, and that's it. Like, people can't even answer what their protocol is. What's a protocol? What do you mean? What did you reconstitute? What's the concentration of the vial? What's the reconstitution volume? That you know, or they tell me, what dosage are you running? 50 units. Okay, great.
It stands for international unit is just like 400 international units of vitamin E is not the same as 400 units of growth hormone or insulin. And it also depends on the syringe. Like, what are we talking about? Come on, man.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's pretty wild, and like you said, people using them from long courses of time, running into crazy side effects. Just, happy to grab a free guide.
Yeah.
That'll do the trick.
Brother, you don't need a guide, you need a savior. You need Jesus himself walking side by side with you to keep you from messing this up, man.
Yeah, I'll be real. When I first got into bodybuilding, I knew bodybuilding. Bodybuilding has two sides to it. There's a natural side to it, and there's the open side to it. And I wanted to get into the open side to it, and I know that meant taking anabolics, and I never did that without a coach. Like, immediately when I knew I wanted to do that, I wanted to do it with Oversight and do it properly. So I got a coach. I got blood work done. We did it properly, and that was over a decade ago, and I've been doing that ever since. You should always have oversight. I'm sure you have a coach yourself. even with all you know,
Mhm.
many coaches,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Because even you, with all you know, would rather work with somebody to oversee things, right? Because you might miss something,
It's also
right?
because it's not about how much you know. People misunderstand this. It's really not about how much you know. It's about the fact that you're trapped in your own subjective experience, so you cannot, by definition, objectively assess yourself and make decisions for yourself that are solely based off of your goal and the outcome. Don't like you're going to self-rationalize, you're going to explain yourself and convince yourself that what you're doing is the best way of doing it, and then you're going to have a phase that runs for too long or for too little. Are you going to push too hard or you're not going to push hard enough? And it's like, I don't want to fucking deal with that. I only have so many years to grow. I only have so many years to be a top performer. Like, I can't afford to waste time and just invest so much time and effort. You know how many hours we spend at a gym every year to get 60% of the results? I want 100% of that shit. I want more than 100. That's why I'm enhanced. You know, like
Yeah,
I want to
exactly. And
squeeze
you,
it all.
as you mentioned, like you shouldn't be using these compounds all the time to begin with.
Hmm.
Using, peptides for a year, not taking breaks. I mean, I don't even do that. To be quite honest, I rarely use peptides. They're not always necessary. There's lots you can do with over-the-counter supplementation. There's a lot you can do with just whole foods and a healthy lifestyle. You don't have to always be looking for an enhancement, and then you complain that you can't afford something. How much are you wasting on fucking peptides that you have no business taking, that you don't even know what they're doing? You literally have no markers for feedback other than I lost weight and I'm constipated all the time. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Well, what is
Yeah.
that really telling us? That it's not fucking working. This isn't sustainable.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
no,
know what I mean?
it's yeah, no, I do know exactly what you mean because I talk to people all the time, and I find that this is rooted primarily in that, like, cognitive dissonance between how much you know and being able to take the right action, 'cause I think that's logically impossible as, like, if you try to formulate a classical logical syllogism in favor of that, I think it's going to be, like, flawed from the get-go. But I also think it's based off of arrogance. That is just a sort of an Dunning-Kruger effect here, where you think that you know significantly more than you do. But I would love to see these people getting eaten up in a conversation with like some of the smartest people in the industry. Because the smartest people in the industry are learning from other people from other fields and everything. Like they're like everybody's learning from someone. And then you assume that because you read a Reddit thread, like you know what the fuck you're supposed to do. You are insane. You are so responsible. And if you are one of these people who does that and like doesn't optimize your fucking diet and your sleeping schedule, like what do you do? Like, peptides are not gonna move the needle, and they're not gonna override your basic habits. Like, your genetic is the blueprint, but your habits are literally what happens, like, dictates what happens inside of that blueprint.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I actually have some data. I collected a lot of data from all the chats, but a very common high dose starting point for GLPs, Reddit, specifically Reddit. People are starting at 5 milligrams a week.
What the fuck?
Like, man, have fun.
Bro,
I hope
I start with
that will hurt
1.
so bad. Like, that will actually literally hurt.
Yeah.
Like, you will be in pain. You will be nauseous for one, and your stomach will be in knots. Like, it will hurt.
If you don't throw a blood or shit blood too, gets a fucking hemorrhoid the first time you go to the bathroom, like, I've seen it happen, you know?
I took 2 milligrams one time, one for my first week, because I messed up the dosage, to be honest. And I was literally in so much pain. It sucked. It was like I could literally feel the whole 7-day peak cycle. At day 3 was crippling. But then it just went downhill from there. I couldn't imagine starting at 5. Oh my
You wanna hear
gosh.
something crazy? I was very sleepy and I had hit the J as well, so it was late at night and I'm about to inject my growth hormone and I'm pushing the whole vial, right? I'm like, "Hey, I'm cutting, like policies and all that." Bro, I injected a whole vial of Retta. I injected 15 milligrams of Retta at once.
Really?
That was not fun. But
No.
I made, like, some corrections, just adjustments to my diet, my and my, I leveraged some stuff like MK677 and things like that. Within a day, I was back 100% normal. I didn't have motility issues. I didn't have digestive issues. I didn't have throwing up issues. I deployed a protocol like fucking immediately. And thank God that I had everything on hand because otherwise I would have been very fucked with all of that, you know?
Yeah, I was working in construction when I first did that. I guess I'm a little bit of a pussy, but yeah, it sucked. It sucked. It was not fun. When I did that one time late night too, was just chilling, watching movies and shit, blazing, and then I go and take I was meant to take D-sip, but then I think I took like what's like the normal dosage of it's not on the top of my head right now. Normal dosage of MT2 melanotan.
Like 250 micrograms up to a milligram. I've done two and
Yeah,
a half
but the
milligrams.
high that's a crazy dosage because
No, you can die from this dose.
I took 500 milligrams or micrograms, I believe. Yeah, I got a pretty good like skin flare, and then because you might know it's as some people might know, it's good also if you have erectile dysfunction.
Yeah,
It'll
it's great.
make you literally stiff as a bull. So,
Yeah,
but it will also make all your muscles tense. Like if you go to stretch, it's like all your muscles
I never
are.
noticed that. Huh.
Yeah, it's a weird feel, especially at a high dosage.
I took 2.5 milligrams, like, at once, like, that was the max that I took, and I took because I wanted to see, like,
Crazy.
what's gonna do. I almost gave myself priapism, like, I had an erection that went over 3 hours, and I was
Yeah,
terrified.
I don't like it because it brings out like dark spots in your skin. So if you already have moles or blemishes, it will
Yep,
bring them out, and
but
they
I
will
found
not
that
go away.
I
They'll
found that
never go
if
away.
you do very low dose, so, like, right now, I do 100 micrograms a week only. I just do that, and it just maintains my tan, but it doesn't get like, I used to make my like, at high doses, it turns this gray, dude. It creates this yellowish look on your skin, and I don't find it appealing at all.
Yeah, I have lots of like dark moles, and it'll bring them out, and then
Yeah.
obviously they're never gonna go away. So.
Yeah. Now, and like on the note of like sexual enhancement, because it has its place in sexual enhancement protocols. I actually put out one for free on Instagram. If anyone wants to check it out, there's like the whole fucking breakdown just for free as a post. Like, dude, it's you don't want erections that are very strong. That is also erectile dysfunction. Like, if you read in the medical book, like what the definition is, you have different rates. So it could be that either the erection is too strong or not strong enough, but people assume that just the not strong enough is the only type. Like, no, no, no. If you are getting less of a sensation out of it, that is like too strong. It's too much. Like, it's not supposed to be that much. Like, you're supposed to be able to be somewhat like not literally hard as a rock. Like,
Maybe
like
you just like to be a weapon. You know what I
then, well,
mean?
in that case, then you need to talk about trimix. Then in that case, you're just going intracavernoso and just take care of the issue like right then and there.
I'll get
That is fucking
personal, but
crazy.
I don't. I hope my wife doesn't listen to this. But when I get those moments, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. Have you tried PT141?
No, I haven't. I was thinking about it, and also Kiss Peptin, but I've read some reviews that it can like last
I mean,
like the
yeah.
libido effect. Being
So
I don't want.
it's like 24 hours or so. Uh, like, it takes about 6 hours to hit, and then it stays for like a day or two. So I like to take it like Friday night, fucking chilling all weekend, just having fun. And I give it to me and my wife when we're both enhanced. We're
Yeah, it's
happy.
funny. Someone came to me this week. They're like, "You, I'm using terzepatide and Kisspeptin for a fat loss phase."
Why kiss peptin for a fat loss phase?
I don't know. That's what I said. I said, okay, well, that's a little bit more libido focused, but
Yeah. Yeah. At PT141, I expected it to feel a little bit more, it was kind of like the feeling of anything sexual, just that feeling is enhanced. So, like, the feeling that you get when you touch skin or when you feel like the warmth of a different body near yours, like, that
it's like
sensation is enhanced. Sorry, what'd you say?
ecstasy, like kind of like ecstasy.
Yeah, a little bit, though a little bit less intense. Like, I found Molly to be a little bit more like, also, like,
Well,
very.
obviously, it's not. I don't think obviously it's going to be as tense as like an MDMA or an
Yeah, yeah,
ecstasy,
yeah,
but
yeah.
you know what I mean, like that
Yeah, yeah.
lovey connection feeling. You feel a lot more like
But I want to try
connected.
both. I wanna try combining PT141 and Molly. I do. I mean, sorry, it will happen. Next time I'm in Brazil, I'm gonna have to try it out.
Yeah, I don't mess with any of that stuff anymore. I'm a preacher's son now. I was born into the preacher's family, so
Yeah, I mean,
no,
my dad's
I'm just messing around, but I don't really mess around with. I used to party a lot, so
yeah.
I had my party days. Although it is very tempting. I see, like EDC and these big events. I'm like, that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah. And so I don't do that, but like I actually one of my interests is in drugs, like not just bodybuilding drugs or peptides, it's just drugs. It's like I like reading medical excerpts of medications. This week I've been reading about memantine, like I because one of my friends told me that she was taking, and I was like, I fucking like it. I like the profile.
Mhm.
I leverage things like pain medication before. Like I was actually the one that was able to fucking help my doctor alleviate my damn pain from my gyno surgery because my doctor was giving me a pain medication that literally doesn't act on the nerves when the nerve pain was the issue that I fucking had in the first place. So like I'll try these things in a very controlled setting, right? So I will. There's this book online called The Drug User's Bible. It's an 800-page book of this guy just cataloging his experience trying pretty much every drug under the sun, including botanicals and things like that. So everything from like ashwagandha to heroin, right? Like the dude tried it all. And then he catalogs like exactly what his experience is like every 15 minutes and all this stuff.
Does
Like
he have a YouTube?
no, no, no. But, like, what he's an older guy in the UK, I think.
There's some guys who've redone this on YouTube.
That's nice, dude. Because that's what I do, like, when I took LSD, it was also, like, we I get one, little sticker, and I cut it in 8 pieces, and I took an eighth of it. I don't have the balls to do a full one. Same with Molly. Like I don't have the guts to do it. I'd like to just get the feeling for the effect, but I don't want to be like too stuck in my head with a stimulant or with like something that changes my perception of reality. I mean, I already did ibogaine, so it doesn't get any stronger than that, and I mega dosed ibogaine. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Well, allegedly, I would say that I don't like psychedelics either. Like, I don't like really like being in that. I don't like mushrooms. I don't like strong doses of that. But LSD, allegedly, that's
Yeah.
something I would enjoy. But I would say it's a lot closer to like the effects of NDMA,
hmm
allegedly.
hmm No, and I liked LSD a lot. I was expecting it to be a little bit more terrifying, kind of like mushrooms, but it wasn't. It just felt like the whole world to me became art. Not like it literally changed but like I saw the beauty in things. I remember just like I drove home and like once I got home, I'm like, okay, let's fucking do this thing. So I take it and I'm just like sitting in the car in the garage and I'm like just watching like the junction of the garage door, and I'm like, "That's fucking cool, man." And I stayed there for hours, like, just
Yeah,
fucking
for sure.
thinking, like, that's a good
Don't
trip.
do it. Don't do it, but you can feel energy.
Yeah.
That's how I would describe it. Is
Yeah,
when
that's
you're
a good
on it,
way.
you can feel energy. It's funny because you take these high doses of peptides, but a high dosage of something like LSD, it's like a super deep energy connection.
I might try it.
You can feel like you can literally feel whatever emotion another person's feeling. You will feel it instantly. You can feel sound, like you can feel light energy. It's such a weird experience. I dabbled with it when I was growing up. I haven't done it in probably over 14, 15 years now. But
Yeah, I did
yeah,
LSD a few months ago. That's when I did it, and Molly too, and I had done LSD before. I did take a very large dose of LSD one time, and then I went to a church.
bad idea.
Dude, I was sitting on it was one of those, like, Hillsong type churches where they're, like, super woo-woo and just singing the same fucking song forever. I was laying down on a couch, bro. I was spiraling. I was like, this sucks." And I was also high as a kite as a teenager. So I was like, "This is not a good experience, man. Fuck this. I never wanna do this shit again."
There's some guys on YouTube, it might be Vice or something, but they drop acid and go to like big rodeos or like big conventions and just like super hectic or
See,
like an
I don't
MLB game or something. It's just something
yeah.
so hectic where you're just like it's too much input. Like it's too much input,
Yes.
you'll get overwhelmed. That's the
Dude,
thing.
you used the exact word that I was gonna use because I do think that these things are they make you highly suggestive, and they put you in a spot where, being suggestive, like whatever your environment is, like you said, you can absorb that energy. So like one of the reasons why I don't want to do high doses of it is just because honestly, I haven't met someone that I feel so comfortable being around me at that time, and I don't want to be by myself doing it either. So like I feel like people just put themselves in a situation where like literally anything can change how your brain functions for the rest of your life. Like the pathways that you're building there, they're so
Mhm.
intense and strong, and you're just like letting a fucking DJ dictate that. Like I don't get it. Like I don't understand. To me, these are tools. So like I've used LSD with like people before, like in the treatment of like alcoholism, because I really see psychedelics having a great place there. The only reason I'm fucking alive is because of Ibogaine, right? So I was a drug addict, and I was the first person in the history of Brazil to do Ibogaine under the age of 18. Fucking did it, changed my life in one fucking trip. Like my entire life. I had to relearn what music taste I had, how to think, how to talk. Like it literally reset my brain. I can't imagine doing something like that in an environment around a bunch of fucking people, or around someone that I don't trust, or like, yeah, it's just not a good, like we talk, like the same thing with peptides. Like we just keep going back to the same thing. Is like each drug has their own purpose. Each food has their purpose. Each habit has its purpose. So like, why are you doing it? If it's just to numb yourself, I don't think that's a good thing to do. Like I don't think it's healthy to use any drug like that.
Yeah, and I'll be entirely honest, like, I've talked about this probably exhaustingly now, but I used to party a lot growing up. That's how I, like, got through, my teenage years, like you mentioned, numbing shit, and I didn't use it productively. And like you said, it can be super like, your environment, it's a lot of input and can be super like I said, it's super overwhelming, and I do have literally images, moments, memories, like, stuck in my brain from some of those
Mm.
experiences. They weren't all good.
Yeah.
Like, I grew up in a small town in Saskatchewan. Like, I was on those psychedelics. I remember people getting in fights, like, super toxic things, and like you said, it likely affects the neurotransmitters in your brain and how
Yes.
everything's reacting and working and wiring, and now I have these toxic memories that I'll probably
Yeah.
never shed. I'm kinda happy I have those now because I know I would I don't even dabble in that stuff anymore. I don't have any reason to. If I did, it would be in a lot more progressive environment where I'm actually making something productive of the
Yes.
situation. Like you
Yes.
mentioned, there's a lot of medical cases of this
Mhm.
now. I mean, there's medicated ketamine use, MDMA for PTSD, anxiety.
Psilocybin is one of the main ones that's used and researched, like, in the world. It's the rates of recovery of it are crazy. You get people who are, like, about to die, like, stage 4 cancer, and they do psilocybin treatment, they just accept and become at peace with their reality, and, like, understand that they're part of this larger organism, and like, fuck, dude, that's amazing. But these things work because they make you highly suggestive. So being with a professional who can actually guide you through this in a way that brings out the best outcome for you, that really is taking care of you when you're in such highly susceptible environment, is very important.
Mhm. For sure. Medically assisted, I think it's MAPS, right? Medically assisted psychotherapy. Yeah, it's growing. It'll probably become more popular
Yeah.
as we age, as we grow as people here.
Yeah,
Seems
man.
like we're slow to input these things that actually work. Like you mentioned earlier, it's a big reliance on big pharma, and that's really comes down to money over anything. And
Hmm. Yeah.
I mean, it's silly because I guess they're working in like the trillions of dollars, but I guess realistically, is there these are questions that probably will always ponder people, but is there, like, longevity? Is there an economy for longevity and health span?
What you
And
mean?
then really at an economic level, like, at a worldwide level, why does big pharma exist? I don't think it's to keep
Oh, I see what
people
you're saying.
alive, right?
Yeah.
But they're bringing in trillions of dollars, right? So,
I mean,
I
there's a
don't
lot of
think that
funding.
not to focus on health. There is people out there who have focus on health, but I don't think it will ever become the predominant factor, right? So it's kind of going to always be this battle. Like there is good doctors out there who work with naturopaths and do see the good side of things, right? So It's really when you use all the aspects of medicine, Eastern medicine, Western medicine, naturopathic medicine, right? All those factors align together, they all can work together, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Sure. Well, it's Friday. You got any big plans for the evening?
Yeah, I'm gonna get back to work and then continue working until I basically nicotine doesn't keep me up anymore, and then after that, go to sleep so I can work tomorrow. How about you?
Oh, fuck. Yeah, man, I've been grinding. I had to, hey, we got a guest in the chat, but cool to see. Anyways, I've been grinding. I've been working hard. I had to go renew my modafinil prescription yesterday. I haven't renewed it for like probably 45 days.
Yeah.
Just took a break from it, but I'm happy I took it today because I had a crazy morning, bunch of calls. We had the pod now. I went to the gym, literally been working nonstop. Haven't really had a break. Haven't even had a shower. Well, I had a shower first thing after I did some cardio. So
Okay.
I'm not that gross, but yeah, I'm gonna grind a bit tonight, do a bit of work here, jump off the pod, go have a shower, go give the wife a kiss, do some plan builds, do some follow ups. There's literally the work's never ending. So I have to set a limit.
Yeah.
I think I have to set myself some like yesterday evening, I felt like I had like a fever, just a fever hit me. All of a sudden I was getting hot flashes. This morning I feel good, but I think that was kind of a little warning sign. Like don't overwork yourself into like a stress load that you can't
Mhm.
recover from. Probably gonna order some burgers from Uber Eats later. If there's a new burger spot, Smash Burgers, I'm thinking a couple Smash Burgers, maybe some Korean chicken. Something like that, fire it up, have a good little Friday evening, but
I have 2 more days on 1,900 calories, and then after that, I can get back to smash burgers.
oh, fuck, dude, 1,900 calories?
Yeah. Yeah. My
Like,
low days are very low,
I'm like 5,600 on a normal training
but
day,
then my high days are a little
but
bit higher too.
if I have some burgers, then I'd probably be pushing like 8,000.
8,000 calories?
Probably today if I have some smash burgers.
Holy shit.
Well, yeah, because my normal diet on a day is 5,600, right? So if I replace the last meal, that's 1,000 calories taken off, so 4,600, two smash burgers, some fries, maybe a dessert. That's roughly 2,500 calories, 3,000
Yeah.
calories.
I mean, my maintenance is like 3,500 or so. Like those are my maintenance calories. But I macro cycle. So like I'll do high fat days. So like today is just so high. It's like 150 grams of fat. Like I'm not
Holy shit.
hungry at all. Yeah, it's a lot, but it just like works very well because then on my high carb days, I refill everything. I look fucking good and I get to eat a fuck ton of food and it brings my appetite back. I really like doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, I've always had the really low fat approach.
Yeah.
And then with the low fat approach, you can utilize a lot more carbohydrates, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like in a prep phase and a diet phase, I would keep fats like 60 tops. And
Yeah.
then in the off season phase, like 90 tops.
Damn.
But
Yeah.
on an off-season insulin day, like 75 tops, right? But yeah, you'll lower the fat and then you can utilize a lot more carbohydrates. It's a better energy source for hypertrophy, and who doesn't like carbs?
The reason I switched it was because, just trying to get more metabolic flexibility for NAD plus production and just VO2 max because I care about those metrics too. I think they indirectly correlate to muscle growth as well. So like I intentionally will have higher fat. Plus, you get more ATP per gram and per calorie with fats than with a glycolytic environment. But beta oxidation actually requires just more time for it to actually happen. So you need to have like more consecutive high fat days to be able to like switch into that and just supporting something like carnitine so that you actually are able to shuttle the nutrients appropriately and swap between things like very well. So I'll do like hit cardio as well, like after training sessions. I'll do cardio, like actual running twice a week.
Mm.
So I'm very big on like leveraging all of those things at the same time and like trying to maintain about as high fats as like you can tolerate because we can get so many nutrients like walnuts, 20 grams of walnuts, bro, that's like all of your daily needs for ALA, which is literally a mitochondrial enhancer. Like, and
Mhm.
for nerve signaling, it's great, like you can get like an avocado, which just has fuck ton of vitamin E, you know, it has some vitamin C in it there. And then on my high carb days, I'm leveraging things like mangoes, right? Like just getting a fuck ton of vitamin C in place. I'm using like dried fruit and everything, but it also like
Well,
combined it.
listen, if there's a place for if you wanna get really big, there's a place for
Yeah.
micronutrients, and micronutrients, they take
Yeah.
a fucking back seat, and they get backloaded at the end of the day if you really need them, but,
Yeah.
like, at the start of the conversation, we were talking about over-the-counter supplementation. I am not sponsored by them. I know some people don't love them, but I do use Revive supplements. I use their lipid, I use their kidney, I use their liver, their blood pressure,
Nice.
their omegas, I use their calm, I use it all, and if you look at the ingredients on and the supplement protocols, like they're really good, and there's a lot of like cross back and forth, so you're getting really high dosages of everything, and it's a great price point. It's not too expensive. Some of the bottles are a 2-month supply, so that's personally what I rock. I do buy some things, on the side as well, but that's my over the counter supplement stack. It's anecdotal. It's shown on my blood work countless times. It's
Yeah.
improved it.
Yeah.
I take
Yeah.
the lipid too as well.
Yeah. It's probably like curcumin, some curcumin pitasoms.
Citrus bergamot, 1.5 grams, beta cisterol, 2 grams, I believe. Multiple other things as well. Blood pressure has garlic, grapeseed,
I
artichoke
wish I could
extract.
control my blood pressure with supplements. I need significantly more than just supplements for my blood pressure.
Well,
But
I take telmisartan myself, 40 milligrams, but actually the blood pressure stack from Revive does pretty good. And another thing you can also do to utilize blood pressure is like running like a pump product before with citrulline malate. You can take that in the
yeah, I
morning,
use
and that's going to
beetroot juice.
enhance blood flow throughout the day, right? Beet juice, yeah.
I use beetroot juice a lot. Like as a pre-workout, that's what I run. I don't do Cialis year-round pre-workout. I do, beetroot juice because that's lame, but fuck it, I'll do it. But dude, that's not the only bodybuilding rule I break. I also train fasted a lot. Like if I'm dieting, I'm training fasted for sure because that just allows me to skip a meal. And bro, once I'm in ketosis, that's when my business grows because I can just focus so well. So it has to be a balance for me because like I'm never gonna make a living off of bodybuilding, and I'll get as big as possible within my like health constraints. And like for me, like that also means like the supplements and the cardio and
Hmm.
metabolic flexibility and all of this stuff. And you know, so when someone is like, because I get these comments are like, man, you're not even that big. And I'm like, yeah, bro, but I'm also like healthy as fuck. Like I'm trying to get like a 54 VO2 max here, man, while being big. I'm trying to be 220 pounds and be able to run a 5K in 20 minutes, like,
Yeah. Like I'm bigger than you, so don't matter.
yeah. Yeah, at least that. It was like, man, at least I'm not, you know, could be worse, could be as big as you.
For sure. For sure.
That's
All right,
awesome.
my man. Well, I appreciate you having you on. I've kept you a little over time here, so I appreciate you sticking around.
That's
If
awesome.
the people want to find you, is that your
Yeah,
Instagram
Optimal
right there?
Nathan. Optimal
Okay.
Nathan on Instagram, Optimal Nathan on YouTube. Come hang out, ask us questions, make me pissed off, and
What's your guys' podcast?
it's just the Opticast. So it's in Optimal Nathan. If you go on YouTube, Optimal Nathan, there's a playlist there that has all of the videos there. We're just on YouTube for now. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Sounds good. All right, my man. I'll link your profile in the chat so people can find you as well. So appreciate you. Appreciate everyone stopping and listening. Thanks for coming by. Yep.